Hey Lift Ed families, Tim Hall here, and I'm going to help you with our botany project for the next 2 weeks. So this is just a little extra information about the microgreen pea seed activity that is kind of the backbone of this unit of study. You'll notice with the record assignments that your kids have, like always, there's two choices, but one of those is always going to talk about the project, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that your children, or you students, if you're watching this, do that record assignment every day, because that'll help you move along with the microgreen growing project, and that's really the funnest part of what we're doing this week and the next 2 weeks. So let's get started. What we have is we've got some pea seeds. Hopefully you've got some pea seeds, and we've got a container to grow them in. Now I've grown pea seeds, I've grown pea microgreens professionally. Like, we've sold them as a family, as a little family business. We've also grown lots to eat for ourselves in winter, and we have a bigger setup than this, but this is the kind of setup that will work great for this project. So you've got your seeds. What about your container? Make sure you have a container that's at least 1 inch deep. It needs to be at least 1 inch. You can see this one here with my old ruler is 2 inches, so that's perfect. I'm only going to fill it about 1 inch full with soil. And then I need a second container of about the same size, ideally, to put inside, to nest inside, because I'm going to have to put some pressure down on the seeds. So this will fit right down inside and put pressure on them. If you're using like a 9 by 13 pan, that would grow a lot of seeds, so that might be more than you want. But you could put a book on it, covered in plastic or something like that. I've also got water, and I've got some potting soil. But the first thing we need to know is how many seeds we're going to use. Because step one, like you see in today's record assignment, is to start soaking your seeds. And how many seeds do we need to soak? Well, let's find out. We're going to plant them densely so they cover about the whole area inside our growing container. So I'm just going to pour some out, and you can see it covers about the whole bottom. Now, we actually don't want the seeds quite that close together. They need a little bit more room to breathe, so I'm going to take some out. Okay, I'll just dump a few out there. That's a little better. The seeds have a little bit more room to breathe. If they're too close, they'll get moldy. Okay, but I'm also going to soak these seeds, and when they soak with water, they're going to get bigger. So I need to account for that by pouring some more out, because when I actually have them soaked, they'll take up more room. So again, I'm going to pour some more out. This isn't an exact science, and I'm going to say, okay, that looks about right. Once they're soaked, those will take up most of the room in this container. So that's about the right amount of seed. I'm going to put my normal seeds aside, and in an empty jar or cup, I'm going to pour these in. So that's all the seed that I need to soak for this container. Now, if you have multiple children doing this project, you could just do another one of these and add it in and soak them all together. Okay? So then I just add water, and I add plenty. I'm going to actually go a little bit deep like that, because these seeds are going to swell up, and they are going to expand and take up a lot more space and soak up a lot of that water. Okay? Now these I'm just going to set aside, and I'm going to make sure I look at what time it is and say in 12 to 24 hours, I'm going to pick these back up. I'm going to go for 24 hours. I really wouldn't want to go longer than that, but that means I'll pick it up tomorrow at this time. Okay, next thing is to get my soil ready. So I've got just normal potting soil here. The less chunky it is, the better. So the finer it is, like a good potting soil, the better, but you know, I wouldn't be too concerned. I'm just going to fill this up about 1 inch deep, so a little less than the surface here. And I'm just going to make sure that the soil is all kind of flat. And I'm also going to pre-moisten this soil. It's really, really dry, and so as I start watering it, throughout the process of growing the microgreens, I'll probably just water with this little spritzer. But initially, I need to get some moisture into that soil. So I'm actually going to put quite a lot in there this very first time. I don't want it to be muddy, but I do want it to be able to absorb in. So you can see there, it looks all wet on the top, but as soon as I start digging it around, bone dry underneath. I definitely need to put more water in here. So I'm going to just really put quite a bit in this very first time, and then in the future I won't need to put nearly as much in. So again, it's going to look kind of muddy, but then once I kind of work it around like this, we'll see that, boy, that moisture just absorbed and sucked right in. In fact, I might even just take a little water from my pitcher here and put it in and mix this soil around. Now you can do this in a bigger container so it doesn't make a mess on your counter, but even if it's a little bit soupy or muddy, that's gonna be okay because I'm gonna let this sit for 24 more hours before I put any seeds in it, okay? All right, so there we go, I've got that pre-moistened. It's gonna be ready for those seeds. This will dry out a little bit for tomorrow when I put those seeds in, okay? Now the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my other container and I'm gonna fill it up with soil as well. This is the one that I'm going to be using as a cover to weigh down my seeds when I put them in here tomorrow. So I'm gonna get this so it's got some weight in it and it fits right in there and I'm ready to use it when the time comes. That's day one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.